here I'll be using the Anastasia Brow Wiz in Caramel. And I'm going to simply take my spoolie and brush out my eyebrows, trying to get those unruly hairs a little straighter. Then I'll start to slowly line my eyebrows with short strokes, trying to recreate that arch that my threadist has already done for me, even though it's been like a month and a half since I got my eyebrows done. But just going all the way through down to the tail, lining them all the way down. Remember, short strokes. Just going back over it. Now just move up to the top, and again short strokes following that vague line that my threadist has created for me. Short strokes all the way down to the tail, and then just kind of going back in and filling it in really softly though, so it won't be too dark. You don't want really dark brows. And right here you just want to make sure those 2 points are lined up so it's symmetrical as you start to create that line on your other brow. And again, just taking those really short strokes because you want to try to mimic hair. And you see right there where it's really a lot of new growth, you just kind of want to push your hair up and kind of ignore those hairs right there and just continue to follow along with that line to create your arch as you move down into your tail. Now I'm just moving up to the top. Again, really just short strokes to create, you know, that arch on top, but you don't want to make it too harsh. So again, just doing those really short strokes and then going back in and just kind of filling it in more towards the tail as opposed to up towards the top. And then just really lightly doing those strokes. Now you're going to move into your Brow-zings kit, and I have mine in light brown. It's the lightest color. And I take my angle brush, put a little bit of that brown gel, not powder, on my brush and just lining up that line that I already made with my Brow Wiz. Just really short strokes again to kind of start building the beginning of your eyebrow, just to make it, you know, look a little more fuller and a little prettier without creating, you know, that boxy brow. And then just moving down, putting the rest of the gel into the tail of your eyebrow. And here I'm just going back in and filling it in just a little bit more. And I'm just saying, you don't want to create a box. You want it to be as natural as possible. Now I'm just moving on over to the other side and just repeating the same steps. I'm just saying, I know it doesn't look all the way complete yet. It kind of looks a little off. So you just got to go back in and kind of build it up. That eyebrow grows a little more crazier than my other one. So I'm usually building the other one to match that one. Especially when my eyebrows are not done, when they are kind of wildly doing their own thing. here I see that it's not all the way there, so I flipped my angle brush over so I could get the same look on this eyebrow. Then I'm just checking them out to see if they're cool. Now I'm going to move to my concealer, and I use my DiorSkin Nude Concealer in color Sable 003. Just a dab on the palette, and I mix it with that HD primer just so it won't give me an ashy look. Use my little concealer brush, and I actually got that one from Beauty Basics off Groupon. I go ahead and I usually put more product on and then kind of just work it up. So you see me just putting a little bit of product on my brow bone, and then I'm going to slowly start to move up. Now in this step, you really have to take your time to build that arch and to disguise all of those hairs. So literally take your time. Now once you get to this point, you want to use just a little bit of product so you won't have that halo, effect underneath your eyebrow. So you just want to do short strokes all under until you connect with that arch. And remember, little product, just a little bit of product, just so you can create that line. And then you want to go ahead and blend that down. Now I'm just moving to the top. I'm doing kind of the same thing, just a little bit of product, and you want to use kind of the angle of the brush to line the top so you can create kind of a fuller look. And then just going in, because I have a lot of hair up there right now, dropping down from my hairline, so I have to use some product to cover that up. And then to finish it off with that little tail, just kind of make the two lines connect, but you don't want it to look like too drawn. So now I'm just going back in and using the rest of the product that's already on my brush. Now I'm just moving over to the other side, and I'm just going to repeat all of those steps. The only thing different with this side is this eyebrow, like I said before, has a lot of hair. Like, it's insane. So I really have to concentrate some of the product right in my arch. But besides that, for me, it's exactly the same thing. And remember, I'm just saying, you want to make sure you line up those 2 points so your brows are symmetrical. But besides that, everything's the same. Exact same thing I did on the other side, just covering up all of those crazy hairs and just get those brows looking right. And at this point, like I said, this eyebrow has a lot of hair, so I'm just really going back in with a little more product to cover up those hairs. Now this part is really important. You don't want to take that brush all the way down to the beginning of your eyebrow because you're gonna have that boxy look. So I just take the rest of my concealer, and this is when I start contouring. Now this is if you were gonna do a full face. So I just wanted to show you guys what I do all the way through. That's a Sephora concealer brush. It actually came in a set. I think it was like maybe 64 bucks at Sephora. And I'm just using that to buff out the concealer. Now this is what you would do when you're prepping your lid for eyeshadow. So this is really moving into something else, but I wanted to give you guys the full, you know, eyebrow look if you guys were gonna do a full face. And now I'm just buffing out the top. Now this is why you don't want to take that brush all the way down in that previous step, because now you're just gonna buff it out. So it makes it look so much more natural, especially like when everything is done. So now I'm just over at the other eye, just buffing everything out again, prepping that lid for a little bit of eyeshadow. And now you want to make sure you buff out that line at the top because you don't want it to look, you know, crazy. So make sure you just buff it out real good so when you go over with your foundation, everything blends well. Now I'm just buffing out the rest of that concealer that I was going to use to contour. So now it looks, you know, really natural. It's not that kind of boxy look. It just looks like eyebrows. So now I'm just kind of playing with the camera so you guys can see it good. And now I'm just going back in with my spoolie to clean up those hairs, get them all going in the right direction. I promise we're almost finished. Now I'm just gonna go in and buff out any harsh lines I see. But besides that, we're all finished. And I really hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Thanks for watching.